Greetings. When I originally read this a while back, it was all in one color, depending on the page. Eventually, I put more writings in it. So the original book didn't have the full message on there. I'm not sure how much more message has been given in other writings, like black writing there, to add to the writings, rather than the original blue writing in this page. Shows other colors in other pages. But eventually, in this module, there's many modules to fit into one module, okay? And eventually it works, okay? So as this is page 3, there's a few more pages to go for this one, okay? It is difficult to draw the third module, so I would have to explain it more in writings than in pictures, in other words, which is easier to interpret for now. Continuing from previous page with the following, all these modules do not work until fully developed, as every module to form one module. See, you need to read all this what's that word? Next, in order to fully understand it, okay? It's not yet complete in this module until the final module is done. All modules in this first type spaceship are combined by the last one of this type successfully and fixed up properly to what I believe will work. Hope you do. And this is very much the information here. You can read it clearly. If you pause it for a second to speed things up, okay, you got, for example, the X's are the shuttles, okay, with the X, where it's marked X, for example. That's the top. You can have 4 that way, or in any number system that you want to be balanced. So is the sides, the bottom, front and back, or whatever you may call it. So then, the doors must, next to the small shuttle, they open and they come out for 2 reasons, but come not at the same time for now. Note, in number 2 here, if rockets are used with fire in the tail, the ship cannot be positioned so on the tail faces the rocket. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is rocket ships cannot be used here in these shuttles because there's too much flame at the back and it'll burn the shuttle. This is what I'm trying to say here, okay? 1, to separate from the shuttle and lower on a planet, so on. This is its purpose for it, for them to come out of the major shuttle to land on planets, so on. But the real purpose is that the second reason is that when they come out at the same time with a pole attached to it and a shuttle. The pole must be made to permit the smaller shuttle to turn 180 degrees or whatever degrees it's supposed to be, okay? I'm not sure about my degrees, but anyway, you'll get that right. Also, to the sides and up and back, whatever, but not straight once they're positioned. In other words, if you use rocket ships, so the plane doesn't hit the shuttle, but it's better to use shuttles, okay, of navigation. That is, it's better to use spaceships rather than rocket ships. But if you use rocket ships, they have to be, the fire must not hit the major ship because you'll burn it, unless you've got some sort of protection or something. But anyway, so it could be position of navigation is set. They have to be made to lock in, but to be loose when required for turning. One position so as not to turn in any direction. The purpose is so as in hope that with the propelled mothership it will pick up speeds enormous, and from the planet to orbit them it stops in space. That is, the major shuttle can stop if it wants to, or move actually, and the same shuttles come out and place themselves in the desired position outside the shuttle. Mothership joined onto the mothership, okay? Then loosens completely and then blast off, okay? Or it's actually attached to the mothership if you want to, and it blasts off, okay, while the mothership is moving or standing still, as well as the mothership hopefully giving it an enormous push, okay. And drive through their journey, okay. Number 3, the smaller shuttles can be the same design or another, or like plane kinds of, okay. Since they're in the shuttle, they don't have to come out of orbit. They can be planes, as long as they work in the engineering of space, you see, because it's the mothership that takes you from planet Earth to the space, not necessarily the aircraft, unless you want it that way, okay. The shuttles or anything that would work in its best in its experiments. I have a gift here, as people can see, so I will spend years to learn all about this, okay, aero engineering and aerospace engineering, to fix up Model 4 to its more progressed future technology, although I haven't begun that yet, other than with the Lord. Anyway, so for example, as in one of my lessons teaches, I'll teach a little bit on this and we'll go more into it on the other lessons in more detail perhaps. For example, a rocket ship or spaceship flies from planet Earth into orbit. How it's done, professionals know that's not relevant. But what I'm trying to say is, it takes a lot of force to get into orbit because of gravity here on planet Earth. But once a shuttle, like a spaceship, is blasted off and goes into orbit, okay, there is no gravity in orbit, is there? Therefore, if you have another push, another blast off, or shuttles, 4 of them attached to it as it's driving, they come out of the shuttle attached to the major mothership, blasts off again, this will give it an enormous blast. You can do this as many blasts off as you like. You should be able to reach hyperspace pretty quickly. You understand that? Because it's like pushing it when there's no gravity, rather than with gravity. See, on Earth, when a rocket ship or plane is lifted off, the gravity can push it back. Unless it's properly engineered and properly fixed, like professionals know, it will not fly. It has to be properly fixed, because of the gravity will push it straight down. But in space, there is no gravity. So I repeat this. So once the shuttle, rocket ships, or even spaceships blast off the Earth and go into space, now you do not need to use gravity, since there's no gravity in space. And if you give it another blast off, or as many as required, or as many as you can when needed. And for example, if you have smaller shuttles attached to the mothership and blast them off, it will give you an enormous amount of speed. You can also use maneuvers like, for example, blasting the right side to move one way and the left side to move the other, so on, up and down. You can use maneuvers like that. This is the basic principle. There's better maneuvers as you read on. Okay. This is the next page, which will be shown pretty quickly soon. Thank you very much.